A 2016 Constitutional Court ruling deemed some aspects of the enforcement of emolument attachment orders, commonly known as Garnishee Orders, unconstitutional and invalid. At the time, it was hoped that the ruling would bring some relief to consumers who suffer from the abuse of such orders. Are employers playing their role in scrutinizing these? Well, for more on that, I'm joined by the Credit Ombud, Nicky Lala-Mohan. Thank you so much for your time today. Remind us again what that ruling was by the Constitutional Court.
Siki, the Constitutional Court made a ruling that an emoluments attachment order cannot be granted unless it's granted in an area that you reside, work, and it also asked for judicial scrutiny. Okay. Now, previously, you would just get a consent to order, go to the clerk of the court, get it stamped, and issue that EAO or Garnishee order on the employer, and they would just have to execute it.
Okay. And
the court found that there were a lot of discrepancies and abuse of that, because the whole Western Cape case related to workers in the Western Cape, particularly power, but the judgments were taken somewhere in Kimberley. But it's the court of efficiency. So all of that had to be clamped down. Okay. The difficulty was that that judgment was not retrospective. So what happened in the past is still in the pipeline, and it's the baggage that's causing all the undue stress that we're going through right now in Garnishee Orders.
Okay, so tell us what is happening right now.
Well, right now, 2nd of August 2017, Courts of Law Amendment Act, it meant that you cannot be garnisheed, or an emoluments attachment order cannot be granted then for more than 25% of your gross income.
Okay.
So there's a limitation.
Okay.
But the whole change in the judicial system, where it has to have scrutiny before a magistrate or a judge before it is ordered. Previously, it was the clerk of the court that stamped it.
Yeah.
So the past is still there. We're dealing with the past, but regrettably, it's causing major hardship.
Yeah.
So much so that complaints have been sent to the South African Human Rights Commission.
What sort of complaints?
Complaints about bondage, complaints about I'm paying this off forever, you know, that kind of stuff. So they convened a meeting, invited us together with the National Credit Regulator, and we've decided to convene all the interested parties to do something about this. Okay. You need a lot of employer education.
Yeah.
That's one of the most difficult things.
And let's talk a bit about that. What is their role?
Their role is, unfortunately, it goes to kind of the salaries department. Nobody scrutinizes it. It's a court order to pay this amount of money out of this person's salary.
Yeah.
They just execute.
They just pay it.
So people must know that they have the rights to question that, to look at what is this about. Give me the judgment. If it was granted in an area that where you don't reside, you have the right to rescind that judgment. Okay. And very common what we find is that there's a major discrepancy between the contractual amount of interest and the amount of the judgment interest. So the judgment would be 12% interest, but these people would charge you 32% interest.
Goodness.
Who is there to look? Which clerk is there to scrutinize that? They're just executing.
Okay.
We need employer education. We need employers to look at that and tell the employee, this is what it is. These are the details. Yeah. The point is, most of the time, people don't have the details. They just get a subtraction on their payslip.
And they find out when they go and they get the bank notification that actually you have no money left in your account on payday. Yes. That 25% cap, is that retrospective?
Only from the 2nd of August 2017.
So if anything that happened before that,
you're still in that old trap here.
Okay. So what sort of assistance then can consumers
Look, what they can do is obviously come to our offices. We, on their behalf, can question the Garnishee order or the emoluments attachment order, call for details, and where we find that there's discrepancies, we raise it with the other side and inform them that we've got the right to rescind this and facilitate the rescission of that judgment. Yeah. So there is help, and we need to inform people to know their rights, especially the human resource element, in terms of they're the ones that are executing. Yeah. They have the right to ask for that. Okay. People don't ask for that. Get a copy of that, look at it. If you're not happy, contact our officers. will help you through the, understanding what is there and looking for the discrepancies, look for the original amount, etc.
This is free of charge.
Absolutely right? Free of charge.
We'll leave it there. Thanks for your time today. Credit Ombudsman Nicky Lala-Mohan.